I actually wasn't planning on making a video about this. This is in regards to my video where I talk about make everything your fault and your life will get better. Essentially, actions are better than words and will change your life and change your circumstance. And this guy kept on saying, it's terrible advice. No one should ever listen to this. And kind of went back and forth. And I said, agree to disagree. This is why I believe genuinely good advice. At the end of the day, I try to give him love. I'm like, oh, love, bro, like agree to disagree. And he was talking about depression and trauma and how it's not a good thing to make everything your fault because then people will feel bad about themselves and all this stuff. You have to come to the realization that depression, anxiety, trauma, a lot of that is a luxury. People in third world countries, they don't have the luxury to think about that. They're thinking about what their next meal is going to be. They're thinking about how do they provide for their family so they don't starve. And some people in some dangerous parts of the world are thinking about how they're not going to get killed by someone of opposite faction or an opposite tribe or an opposite country. People in those circumstances do not think about depression, anxiety, and trauma. They're thinking about the basic survival skills that you need. I think about my grandpa and stuff. I don't think he was thinking about depression and trauma and how maybe terrible his life was when he grew up living in a house that had dirt floors and would turn to mud whenever it rained. I don't think my grandma was thinking about depression and anxiety whenever she was living in Japan during World War II. They had to resort eventually to eating bark off of trees in order to survive because there's no food. I don't think they were thinking about all this stuff just because they don't have the luxury of thinking about that. Sometimes you got to put stuff in perspective. Stuff happens to all of us. I don't care who you are. You can't control what happens to you. You can only control what you do in response to what happens to you. That's what's going to change your life.